Hello, my name is Kat, and today I'm doing the Totally Should've book tag. So this tag was created by the lovely Emma Books, and she actually tagged me in the original, so I'll link her video down below. I have 11 questions here, so let us begin with the answering of them. So first up is Totally Should've had a sequel. And for this one, I'm going with The Blood of Olympus by Rick Riordan. As an installment in the series, this book was fantastic, but as a finale, it just lacked that little something something that I want in a finale. I mean, we are getting more books set in this world, so we will hopefully be revisiting these characters and seeing what they're up to, and that's like not exactly a sequel, but it's kind of a sequel. It's close enough that I'm happy. But I still can't help but wish that the finale of the Heroes of Olympus series was not this. Next up is Totally Should've had a spin-off series. And for this one, I'm going to be entirely unoriginal and say Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. Literally any prequel or sequel spin-off series would make my life. Like, I would love to see a series about Dumbledore when he was younger, or Harry Potter's parents when they were in school, or a series with adult Harry Potter, or even one about his children. Like, I would love any of it, all of it. It would be amazing. Next up is an author who totally should write more books. And for this one, I've chosen Stephanie Perkins. I adore Stephanie Perkins books, and I just really want more. And actually, we should be getting a new book by Stephanie Perkins later this year, and I am super excited about that. Even though it is going to be very different from her cute contemporary books, as this one is a horror story, but still, I can't wait to read that. Next up is a character who totally should have ended up with someone else. My answer for this one has to be Alina from the Grisha trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. Now, I'm not going to say a whole lot because I don't want to spoil anything for those of you who haven't read the series yet, but this is one of the only series I've ever read where I wasn't happy with the final pairing. Normally, I'm pretty good at choosing the right ship, or I can at least get on board whatever ship happens to be endgame, but with this series, I just wanted something different to happen. And to be completely honest, I totally should have seen where it was going, but I didn't, and Next up is Totally Should've Ended Differently. And for this one, I've chosen The Retribution of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. The beginning of this series was so gripping and mysterious, and it felt like we were building up to something extraordinary and mind-blowing, and then we got this. And it's not that this was a terrible book or anything, it was just that I was expecting so much more. Instead of leaving this book, like, satisfied and mind-blown, I left it kind of confused and like, that was it for a series that started off so promising. I was just expecting a lot more awesomeness from the finale. Next up is Totally Should've Had a Movie Franchise. And for this one, I've chosen the Allegiant trilogy by Marie Lu. Now, at least the first book was optioned for a movie a while ago, and then it didn't happen, which is such a shame because out of all the books that have been optioned and made into movies, I feel like this one would be really successful. It's so fun and action-packed, and when I was reading it, I could visualize everything so well. Like, it was almost like a movie in my head, and I want it to be a movie on the screen. Next up is Totally Should've Had a TV Show. And for this one, I've chosen Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Now, I actually think that this book would make a fantastic movie as well, but I would really love to see a TV series because the world is so interesting, and I would love to get to explore it further and also meet new characters and explore their backstories and get into new conflicts and revenge plots and all that. Like, I think it would be a fantastic television series. Next up is Totally Should've Had Only One Point of View. And for this one, I've chosen Allegiant by Veronica Roth. My biggest complaint about this book has nothing to do with how it ended and everything to do with the dual point of view. For one thing, I could just never tell whose head I was in. Like, Tris and Four sounded the same, and that shouldn't be the case. And aside from that, I just didn't like being in Four's head, period, because he came off kind of angsty and whiny, and I just found that really unattractive, which was a shame because in the previous books he's very attractive, but this kind of ruined that. That's just my opinion, okay? For me, personally, that's how I felt. Your mileage may vary. But yeah, I just wish we'd stayed in Tris's head for almost the entire book. You know? Next up is totally should have a cover change. I would freaking love to see the Bloodline series by Rochelle Mead get new covers. It's such a shame that the Vampire Academy books and the Bloodlines books have the covers that they do, because they are so much better than what those covers imply. Like, the reason I resisted picking up Vampire Academy for so long was because the covers didn't appeal to me. Then when the spin-off series Bloodlines was coming out, there was such a great opportunity to rebrand and redesign, but that didn't happen. Not only did we keep the same concept, but somehow the pictures just got worse. Honestly, I'm not even sure how I would redesign these covers. Like, I don't have a better idea in mind, but I wish someone did, and I wish that person had the power to change things because come on. Next up is totally should have kept the original covers. Now for this one I had a lot of options, but I ended up choosing the Curse Workers trilogy by Holly Black. Now I actually quite like the cover redesign. Like, I think it looks really cool, but it doesn't fit the books as well as this one did. Out of these two options, which one looks more like a book about mobsters and magic? I think this one. This one has a nice mobster, con artist feel to it. This one doesn't. And finally, I have here totally should have stopped at book 1. I apologize in advance for pissing some of you off, but for this one, I'm gonna say Divergent by Veronica Roth. Now, I loved this first book, Divergent. It is one of my favorite books of all time, but then Insurgent happened, and I liked Insurgent. I didn't love it as much as this one, but I felt like we could go somewhere amazing in the last book, but then we didn't. I still love this first book a whole lot, but after finishing the series, my love for it overall is just not love. It's alright. I'm trying to keep this book in a nice, safe bubble in my head, detached from the rest of the series, and especially detached from the movies. Although the first movie was good, but like, the movie franchise is going downhill so much harder than the books did, and it breaks my heart a little bit. So I'm just gonna reread Divergent and ignore everything else. This is a standalone, you guys. One of my favorite standalones of all time. Sure, there are a few loose ends, but overall, solid standalone. Solid standalone. Don't read the other books. Stop here. Alright, there you have it. That was the totally should have book tag, and that is gonna be it for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great night, and I will have another video up soon, so I will see you then. Goodbye! Just because I know you probably want this, I'm gonna leave, so you can look at the books. You're welcome! I wonder if people can see me. I'm kind of by a window. Back it up. You got it. I don't know why I cry, but I think it's because I remembered for the first time how much I missed my books. And now they're so beautiful. Single tear. Anyways. Now I'm not gonna shit all over the movies because the movies are doing a fine job of that on their own. Like, I'm pretty sure Allegiant Part 1 takes place in hell, and not in a fun way. Is that damn it feels good to be a gangster? It does feel good to be a gangster. Just in case any of you are curious.
was lonely till I saw your face.